Oh, Jack, you made it.
These are for you.
Oh, you shouldn't have. Come in.
Well, actually, the table's booked for 6:30.
Well, I'd like you to meet my dad first.
Your dad?
He's 109. Dad, this is Jack. Jack, this is Dad. Now, I want you two to get to know each other while I go and finish getting ready.
It's an honour, sir.
Listen, mate, I didn't come down to the last shower, so just cut the bullshit. What do you do for a crust?
Well, I'm retired.
Oh, that figures. Another bloody doll bludger.
I was in charge of the Reserve Bank.
The Reserve Bank? Ah. Couldn't you just get yourself a job in a proper bank? Anyway, where'd you meet Agnes? That bingo club where she plays with her half-witted mates? No good bums, a lot of them.
Well, I think we'd better be...
So where are you taking her, eh? Some fancy cafe. You think you're going to get into her pants that way? Well, listen, son, don't make it Chinese, because Chinese shoots through her like a friggin' freight train. And if it's steak, you're going to have to chop it up into small bits because she's been having trouble with her choppers.
Of course, I'm not going to.
And if you must slip her one, just take it easy, eh? I've already had one bloody hip replacement, and I'm buggered if I'm going into a nursing home for a second one.
Oh, there. Are we ready to go?
Absolutely.
Bye-bye, sweetheart. Nice to meet you, mate.
See you, Dad. Isn't that amazing for his age?
Amazing.
Hey, shithead! Just make sure she's back here by 9:30 p.m.
Why 9:30?
Someone's got to put me to 9-9s.
Come on, you bludgers. Put some bloody ticker into it.
Lucky me flaming dog could do better than that.
Come
I'm
on,
sorry, gentlemen.
Bye-bye.
Would you mind keeping it down a bit, please?
Why? What's the bloody problem? I drank of the cup of tradition. The very stones of that glorious old temple of God cried out in testimony to its Catholic past. This love of church buildings and ceremony led me towards a higher calling. Quite suddenly, while I was attending Vespers during a sermon on a verse from chapter 12 of Genesis. Now the Lord had said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. The Lord touched me with his grace. He called me from my drawing board, the very symbol of my worldly ambitions. I know perfectly well that the Perth clergy really desired imitation Gothic. They wanted a steep pitch roof with big windows and buttresses, and never mind that they buttressed nothing, since there was to be no vault. Bastard Gothic is the very worst of any type of building. My design was much better suited to Australia, inspired by the churches of southern Europe and built for a hot, sunny climate.
Hi, how you doing?
Well enough, thanks.
I've noticed you've been watching us train for the last few days. Do you mind if I ask why?
I wondered if any of you'd seen me.
Look, no offence, but we're not too happy about being spied on.
Spied on? Oh, goodness me, I must cut a more serious figure than I imagined.
So what's this all about? Why have you been watching us?
Well, it's quite simple, really. I've been trying to find out what sorts of people you are, to see if you're right.
Right for what?
Do you mind if I sit down? My legs aren't what they were, I'm afraid.
Oh, sure.
Rosie loved the surf, you see. Every day we'd come down, she'd be straight into the water. It was like she belonged in it.
So what happened?
Oh, same thing that happens to us all. She got old. The surf was too strong. She struggled against the currents. It was much too dangerous.
So she had to stop altogether?
That's right.
I guess that must have been pretty upsetting for her.
She was never the same again. All the life went out of her. The last years were pretty miserable, really.
Yeah, well, it all makes sense. The name, the age, the surfing, everything.
But how did she die? And when?
Happened about 4 days ago. I took her out some biscuits. She always had a weakness for shortbread. She was on the veranda. I thought she was asleep. When I went back a few hours later, the biscuits hadn't been touched and her eyes were still closed. This time I could see she wasn't going to wake up.
Well, shouldn't you have tried to get her some sort of medical attention?
Nothing they could have done.
Didn't you think of telling someone? What about her family?
All long gone. Nobody left there.
So you just had her cremated without letting anyone know?
Rosie wouldn't have wanted any fuss. Besides, she'd lost contact with people. I was her only friend.
I still don't get why he wanted to see you. And why he's been watching us train for the past 3 days.
Like I told you, Rosie loved the surf. And I know she'd want her final resting place to be out there. I was looking to find someone suitable.
Suitable for what?
For taking her ashes out and scattering them in the ocean.
Oh, you want us to do that?
Would you mind? You all look such decent young people, and it would make us both very happy. Rosie especially. It's a dour wee place at the top of the world, with as dour a wee race as has e'er been unfurled. It's no the size of the person I'm referring to here, it's their in-look and outlook that makes them seem true. They grasp on a pennies as tight as a fist, and anal retention seems high on their list, for the one toilet town is common to find, and it'll cost you some pennies to place you behind. There's a nice living made from leasing a room. The shorter term rentals help profits accrue. In days that have passed, 'twas only sheep that were fleeced. Now, the width of a tourist sees prices increased. The cross of St. Andrew waves over this ground. It may soon be replaced by a large Scottish pound, for the chase for the bawbee and its manifest aims will toss out the caber from most Highland games. So, if you're minded to cross old Hadrian's wall, make sure your wallet's stuffed full of all, or when you return you'll be stripped clean and bare. For north of the border, we want more than our share. As age, with poison potion, infects my every cell, a diminishing of substance grips my mind. I no longer seem to fill my personal space. It feels a size or two too large. Is this the result of enfeebled, fading functions? Or do others see in me a haziness of form, a loss of solid substance? Are molecules dispersing due to stress of passing time? The creping of skin, the flaccidity of muscle, the timidity of movement. Does this amalgam undermine one's earthly presence? Or does the retreat from physicality engender in the mind a sense of diminution? When, in a crowd, someone steps aside to let me pass, it seems a validation of my presence still. Perhaps this incoherence is a product of the mind, and there may yet be time for life to run its course.